Welcome. I'm so glad to have some of you joining us for the fireside chat with the Eating Disorder Foundation. We'll give it a few more minutes as people are still entering the room, and then we'll kick us off. I'm so excited to have this time with Danny and Lydia.
So excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome those of you who are popping in to the fireside chat. I think that we will just go ahead and get started. And as people enter in, we'll just kind of catch up on all of the things that we've discussed since we have a relatively short period of time together. So I'll go ahead and kick off with, my name is Mandy Rector, and I am one of the directors of clinical outreach for Within Health. And I am so honored to have my friends and colleagues from the Eating Disorder Foundation here with us today to share a bit more about eating disorder support systems and the program that they offer. And so I'm going to pass it over to Danny to do some introductions and kind of share a bit more about the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mandy. We are so grateful and honored to be here today, and just for your support and the partnership that we have. I want to mention quickly that Within is an annual sponsor of ours, and so truly we couldn't be more grateful for that. So thank you for believing in our work and wanting to partner with us. It really does mean a lot. My name is Danny Gillity, and I'm the executive director here at the Eating Disorder Foundation. And I have been with the organization for a little over 7 years, not as the director the entire time. I started as the program director and then rolled into my new role. Not so new anymore. It's been a while, but it's an organization I feel so incredibly passionate about and so lucky to be part of. And I will be telling you a lot more about it, but I'll first hand it over to Lydia, our program director, to say hello.
Thanks, Mandy and Danny. My name is Lydia Rhino. I am the program director at the Eating Disorder Foundation. I just celebrated my second anniversary here, making sure that all of our programs stay running and operating to the best of our abilities. I've worked in clinical spaces in the eating disorder world prior to coming on board here, so I do share some of that background. And I'm just really, again, I also believe in the mission and providing free and available resources to folks in our community. So it's really where my passion intersects with my knowledge of the work that we do. I'm just really grateful to be able to talk more with everyone about the services that we offer and how we help create lasting, sustainable recovery spaces for making sure that people feel supported throughout their journeys. I'm going to hand it back to Danny so that she can introduce more about what we do here at the Eating Disorder Foundation.
Okay, thanks, Lydia. So yeah, we are a nonprofit based here in Denver. We just last year celebrated our 20th anniversary, which is pretty remarkable for a small organization. Our founder is a woman named Toni Saber, and she struggled with an eating disorder for about 25 years. And I think what makes her story a little bit unique is that her onset was a little bit later. She got sick around the age of 30. She was going through a lot of family stuff at the time. And, all the events that were happening in her life triggered the onset of her eating disorder. And she was really sick till she was about 50. She reached the age of 50 and she ended up in a coma, really on the brink of death. And I think at the time, no one really thought she was going to survive. And she ended up going to treatment, finding her recovery. And in that process, she really realized that there was nowhere for her family to go to get support while she was sick. She was going through a divorce. She had been married, going through a divorce, all of these big things that were happening in her life. And her parents and her siblings were kind of just out there trying to figure out how to support her, what they could do, how they could be part of her recovery, all of these things. So upon founding the Eating Disorder Foundation, she really wanted to offer support for caregivers. And that was really how EDF was created, this idea of providing a space for loved ones to come together to take care of themselves also, so then they can provide the best support for the ones that they care about. So we started with one support group over 20 years ago. And what's so amazing is Tony is still very involved and she still runs our family and friends support groups today. She offers 2 different support groups a week that are really so well attended. And people will refer to Tony as like their guardian angel and like just this woman who has really been able to help so many families along the way through her own experience, through the experience of our community. So since then, we've evolved beyond just caregiver support. That really is such a huge part of what we do and what we deeply believe in, this idea of providing the best care that we can to the caregivers. But we now offer, I mean, Lydia can give the exact figures, but about just over 20 different support groups, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And something that Lydia mentioned in her intro is just all of our support groups are free. All of our services are free. Everything we do is at no cost to anyone who joins. And so we've kind of built our organization around 3 pillars of support, education, and advocacy. So under that support module, you're going to really find the support, all of the support groups that we do. We also have a program called Monthly Connections, which is they'll meet monthly. They're a little less formal than our support groups, kind of just more of an open conversation. So those happen. And then we have our weekly support groups that meet. And the other thing that I really want to say about our support groups that I think is really important is they are run by volunteer professionals. So, you know, Tony started this organization. She's not a clinician, you know, just herself, and really getting the whole community on board to make EDF happen. And in some ways, we still really are operating the same way. We have 4 staff members here, and beyond that, our programs are really made possible because of our amazing community. And now, since post-COVID, we're doing so much more virtual work. Really, most of our stuff is virtual now. So our community has just grown 100 times since 2020. And so relying on professionals all around the country to help us. So that might be like a little plug if anyone is ever interested in volunteering or wanting to be part of a nonprofit, please reach out and we'd love to have a conversation with you. So we have our support groups. And then under support, we have a mentorship program that we have been running now for 5 or so years. And what makes this program really unique is that it's really geared towards supporting the mentor just as much as it is supporting the mentee. So our mentors typically have been in recovery for a minimum of 2 years. And then they go through a really significant training process, and then they are offered so much support throughout the 10 weeks that the program runs. And so we run 4 mentorship quarters a year. And it's just an opportunity for people to give back in a way that they might not have been able to find an opportunity like that before. And then another way for our community members to get support. And then in the last 3 years, we started a caregiver mentorship program. So we're really wanting to offer support to the parents, siblings, loved ones, partners, you know, all those people that are doing really hard work as well. So matching them with caregivers who have also gone through similar things. And so we're always looking, especially to grow that program. So if you have anyone in your networks or any clients that you work with that you think might be a good fit for a mentee or a mentor, please let us know. So those are the 2 main programs that go under the support piece of it. And then we have a really robust education program that we go into schools, we'll meet with counselors, just really anyone who is open to receiving some eating disorder education, we will be there. And Lydia can speak a little bit more about that as well. And then we do a ton of advocacy work. We do advocacy one-on-one, really trying to get people into the correct treatment. We help build treatment teams around people if they're looking for some outpatient support. And then we have been working on the legislative level here in Colorado to pass some laws to make accessing treatment more accessible to people and so forth. And we can share a little bit more about that as well. But again, we just truly just believe in this idea of providing creating a community to provide support for people along their journey. We don't claim to be the one-stop shop. We are just one piece of the puzzle for people, just this meaningful connection and support that they often don't have in their lives. So we have some of our support group members who attend 5 groups a week, right? So they really rely on EDF for this community piece that is missing in their individual lives. And so I think the work that we do is just so critical in that we believe that recovery is like a whole system, and we are providing one piece of that. So I don't know if Lydia, you want to chat a little bit more about just like the support groups and things, just so people have a better idea.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you did such a great job giving an overview of everything that we do offer and really highlighting the different areas of support, whether that's around the caregivers, individuals, and the different ways that we can also support professionals in that process as well. But yeah, we have I just pulled some numbers looking at how many support groups we were able to offer over the past 12 months. And we've been able to offer 841 free support groups and meeting spaces for individuals seeking recovery. And that also includes folks that are within their recovery process as well. So looking at folks that are more on solid ground, which is the name of our support group for individuals that have been symptom and behavior free for around 2 years, to also provide that continuing ongoing connection and support for folks that get it and understand what it's like to live in our society, and also are choosing to make recovery focused actions every day. So around monthly, I would say our groups typically are around 60 per month. So with some of those being bi-weekly, monthly, we really want to make sure that we're trying to offer as many different free spaces as possible, with some of those being demographic specific. So I really like to highlight that our individual support group for folks over the age of 50 is our most highly attended weekly support group. And that is facilitated by a provider that's been in the Denver community providing specialized care for eating disorders for, I think, it's been well over a decade now, which is amazing. So we're really lucky to have her continued ongoing support with that community. But we do have around 25 folks joining that group weekly, which is really incredible to see that we have folks that are seeking recovery, finding their recovery, building the support system around themselves, especially as we're reaching different stages of life where maybe they haven't had an opportunity to connect with other folks with their journey, maybe within the last couple of years. So that's really, really amazing to find. We also do offer an LGBTQ plus group, because we do know that folks that fall into that identity are more at risk for developing disordered eating. So we want to be able to offer that space. And with a majority of our groups too now being offered virtually, we do provide a safe space for folks that are outside of maybe significantly more safe spaces. We do offer that space virtually to be able to include folks that maybe don't live in an area where they have access to resources that can affirm their identities and hold space for the unique struggles that they face. We do also offer in our monthly groups, we do have a space specifically for adolescents as well. As someone who worked in the children's wing at a hospital focusing on treating eating disorders, I really care for the adolescent population as well, and making sure that we can get them access and support to conversations around what recovery can look like, how we can be integrated into our school settings while also remaining recovery focused. So we do offer demographic specific options to make sure that we're curating those support systems as closely as we can to folks with similar lived experiences, which is something that we really, really do care for. Under our education, we definitely really love getting into schools and being able to open up that conversation, getting that dialogue started. And I will say equally as much, we also do love getting into conversations with school counselors that maybe have not had the training or specialized support for treating eating disorders, but have seen it pop up along the way while they're supporting students. So just recently I've already been able to this month set up 10 different educational presentations for folks that are both school counselors as well as middle school and high school classrooms. So it's an area that I really love, being able to just break that silence and get that conversation started. And most of those are done virtually now as well. Since we are here in Denver, I try to do as many in person as we can. And for folks that are in Massachusetts or out in California, easily able to translate those presentations into the Zoom setting, which I'm so fortunate to have access to. So that's been really amazing. And we also do, under that educational branch as well, we do offer virtual workshops, and we'll be having some more of those coming with our fabulous sponsorship from Within. We'll be able to present with some of the professionals that work at Within to provide different types of insight on different topics that they're seeing happen within their support networks, and being able to just spread that education and awareness. Again, for free. We really want to make sure that people have access to continuing discussions around new topics that we're seeing. So I know the one that we've had in the past has been eating disorders in midlife, and that is one of our, again, most widely attended webinars, because people really want to know what that looks like, what supports can look like. And it's really beneficial to just have that available in the moment when we're presenting, and also living on our YouTube page where folks can refer back to those videos at any time. And that can be a great opportunity for folks that are also wanting to, for professionals that just want a little bit more insight into different specialized areas. Can be a really great way to just kind of tune in and pick up some more pieces of information from other professionals that are in the community that have been doing this work and are passionate about giving back to the community. Some of the bills that Danny mentioned that we were able to support here in Colorado focus specifically on removing the BMI as the sole indicator of remaining in treatment. We heard from our community that BMI was often used as an indicator that someone had reached their treatment goals, and we also heard that that was not the case, that often that was maybe one point of their recovery process for some folks, but that often it took a lot more clinical interventions to be able to help people reach the place that they felt comfortable and able to step down from that level of treatment. So that was just one, but we were able to actually within the past couple of years pass 4 bills into becoming laws here in the state of Colorado. So that's something that was a great learning part on our side, to learn just how extensive doing any kind of legislative work can be, and the vulnerability that comes from not only our staff members testifying and supporting those, but also the community members that were able to be there in person testifying on behalf of their own lived experience, as well as folks that tuned in virtually to provide their insights. So it's really remarkable that a team, I'm going to speak on behalf of EDF, that it's really remarkable that as a team of 4, we're able to accomplish as much as we do. And it's something that is very easy for, I think, Danny and I to both speak on, is the passion that we all have behind doing the work that we do. And again, making sure that people have free and accessible resources, not only throughout Colorado, but as well as folks throughout the country and internationally. We do have regularly, I know, multiple folks that come to our groups that are from Spain, from Australia. So we are able to reach so many more folks now with access to majority of our services being virtual. So again, really grateful for that as well. And yeah, our mentorship program, I think, is one thing that Danny highlighted, but I just like to really highlight that again, that having access to a free resource that's 10 weeks one-on-one individual support for both caregivers and individuals, with meetings to happen to support both the mentors on both of those tracks, as well as check-ins with the individuals too, to make sure that we're working towards a recovery goal, to be able to keep track of that, and just really doing as much as we can to encourage that vulnerability, being able to connect and talk about our experiences through this. Really, support systems could not be a better topic for us to talk about, because that is something that we know is a key factor of creating that lasting recovery. And we're always going to hold on to that hope around what that can look like and how we can help support folks in creating those spaces for one another. This is something I talk about all the time. So Danny, if there's anything that you're like, hey, I want you to highlight that a little more, feel free.
Thank you. I think I just saw a question in the chat about one of our groups, if we offer anything specifically for diabulimia. And unfortunately, this time we don't, but just so you know, it's on our radar and something that, you know, it's been talked about before. So hopefully it's something we can do in the future, but that is one that I know that there is more of a need for. So thank you for asking, and hopefully we'll be able to report back soon that that's something that we can do.
That's definitely, I love to hear feedback like that and different things that people are like, okay, this is something that I've heard of. I want more information or resources on that, because that is the unique thing about our monthly connections as well, that we can kind of tailor those spaces towards different topics such as diabulimia. We're in the works of creating an athlete specific one. We do have a binge behaviors specific monthly connection, as well as a romantic partner. So these are spaces that I really want to work towards creating more centralized themes around that. So thank you for individual who asked that question.
And I just want to make sure like people understand that our groups and our monthly connection things are all run by, licensed professionals. And they're very structured with guidelines and things. So I know there's a ton of groups out there, and I think a lot of them are also fantastic, but they don't always have the structure that we provide. And I think that is important just to note, to make like really successful spaces and safe support groups for the community. So just wanted to put that out there. Were you going to say something, Mandy?
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
thinking, I'm pretty sure that you said 800 something total support groups that you offer in a year. What was the number again?
841.
That is absolutely incredible. And it really just speaks to the importance of having these support systems and all of the individual lives that you're touching and serving and holding these spaces for clients and patients who have gone, into higher levels of care and needing that external support once they are stabilized and seeing their outpatient team, but still needing a point of connection in their community, wherever it is that they live. Because this is one question that I am asked often as one of the directors of clinical outreach at Within is, what about support groups? And I think that what you all offer is just incredible and a really fantastic reason that just why we're here and why we support so much what the four of you are doing at the Eating Disorder Foundation. And just to speak to the fact that you offer the opportunities for workshops where the professionals of various organizations, expertise, different backgrounds can come in and speak to anyone who's interested, right? Because you have different topics where your following is looking for answers to certain things, or even just to have some dialogue and feel like it's normalized conversation, that this is a place where we can um, learn and grow and share together. So just incredible. So thank you so much for the work that you do. There is another question in the chat that's asking, do you have any programs for students who would like to specialize in eating disorders?
Yes. Well, we'd been running a practicum program for the last 10 years. So we've been doing that. We have this year decided to, starting in January 2025, which is like crazy that we're already there almost. We're not going to be running our practicum program anymore, but we are about to launch a new opportunity that we're doing, partnering with another nonprofit for an affordable counseling situation. So we will have a lot more information about that. But I would say if you have a student that is interested in getting hours and working with eating disorders, please have them reach out to us, because there's always some observation that they can do. There's a lot that we have. So we're not going to have like a formal practicum program anymore, but there are going to be time and space for people and students that are interested, because that is one piece that we're super passionate about, because we want to help educate new professionals as they are going through their own process and figuring out kind of how they want to specialize in things. So please connect them with us, or you can reach out yourself and we can give you more information on that piece.
And I would add to that too. We have a lot of questions like that come up for those who are interested. They're either in school or about to graduate, want
Yeah.
to learn more. And so some of our encouragement, even at Within Health, is to join some of the free continuing education webinars that are out there from various organizations, including Within Summit, that we're offering the CEUs throughout this platform. And also it has been free to anyone who doesn't necessarily need the CEUs, but is interested in learning. And we offer them monthly. And so we have a lot of great community partners that are doing something similar for those students in the meantime
Yeah.
as well. So just another additional resource for those who are looking for that. And then, Danny, I would love for you to talk a little bit about when we're talking about support and we're talking about these clients who have gone, in and out of treatment and who are getting support, but then also your organization does a really fantastic job of holding space to in remembrance of those who have
Wow.
um, who are
Yeah.
who have lost their lives due from the eating disorder. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the vigils that you host as well.
Thank you for bringing that up. So, every year we host a candlelight vigil that takes place in our garden. I think what's like makes EDF so special and unique is that we do have this physical space, and we have a really welcoming home for people to come into. And spend time here. But alongside that, we have a garden that really means so much to us for lots of different reasons. But one of the events that we hold there is a candlelight vigil. We'll just bring the community together just to offer that really sacred time of remembrance and also just to hold that piece of hope for those who are still struggling, for those that are in recovery. And we share, like, play beautiful music and read some poetry and really just create and honor the work that professionals are doing, the work that people are doing on themselves. And then most of all, just holding space for those who have lost their lives. We have a tribute wall out in our outdoor space as well. And so I think just as an organization, it's just like never lost on us, right? The just the tremendous sadness, the tremendous, like just the loss that so many have experienced. And so, yeah, it's just always close to us. And it's something that we, as an organization, will always keep in the back of our minds. And so, just providing that one day a year where we're like, okay, this is what we're going to focus on. So thank you so much for bringing that up because it's such an important piece.
It's really beautiful. And I think that also is a great segue into some of the work that you're doing, even to hold space for providers to
Yeah.
connect with one another, to have and hold and share the space of how can we best support our clients that we're serving in our communities. And so if you want to share a little bit more about
Sure. Yeah, I would
that
love to.
program as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So just a few months ago, we, alongside with some professionals in the community, have started a program called CoPro, which is Colorado Professionals. Lydia, can you tell me the exact
I
what
think professionals for eating disorders,
Yeah.
something along those.
So we came together to start this program, which really has seen remarkable success. And I would encourage anyone in any other community to try to do something similar. Or if you are in Colorado, please connect and get signed up because it is really incredible. But we meet twice a month. And it's the whole point is it for it to be informal and relaxed and easy and just based on like connection. I think so many providers can feel so isolated doing this work, especially if you're in private practice. So we wanted to have an opportunity for providers to feel supported and connected so that they can go out and do the best work that they can. So we meet twice a month, one just for like, we meet at a coffee shop for networking, connection, really just to get to know one another, learn what everyone else is doing for referrals and all of that. And then we meet another time for case conversations is what we call it, which is really an opportunity for anyone who's doing work to come together to bring up topics that they are seeing in their practice, things that they have questions about. We do have some licensed professionals who are able to offer supervision hours. So it's an opportunity for some of our newer clinicians who are needing hours to get group hours signed off on attending. And then we do one-off events that are really fun, and hopefully we're going to have a really fun holiday party and just do things. Cause I think what we've said a few times now is this work is hard. And I think everyone who's doing it deserves to be celebrated and connected and not feeling alone. So that's really where CoPro comes into the work that we do. So yeah, I think it's a really cool program and I'm excited to see its evolution and how we can continue just bringing the Denver, Colorado eating disorder community together. So again, if you're interested, please reach out because I think there's space for everybody there.
Yeah.
So,
I especially love that level of support that is offered too, because every provider that I've met, whether it's locally here in Colorado or abroad, I'm so inspired by the work that everybody does. I'm inspired by the clients that are constantly,
yeah.
working towards recovery and however that looks for them. And I just think it's really beautiful. And so really appreciate you and Lydia and your team at the Eating Disorder Foundation for all that you do and have contributed to the community and will continue to contribute. I know we probably have a little bit less than a minute left. And so if there's anything else that you would like to add, or if you want to drop your website into the chat for anybody who's interested in learning more or even donating to the programs that you're continuing to help sustain, please feel free to do that. But I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful, and just thank you for everyone being here. And I think Lydia just popped our website in there. Please reach out if you want to get involved, if you have clients that you think would benefit from the work that we do. And we're really just so grateful for our partnership within and allowing us this space to get the word out of the work that we're doing in the community. So thank you, Mandy, for your time and for asking us to be here today. And yeah, just get in touch, get connected. We love to meet people from all over the country and see how we can work together. So thank you all.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for joining us for the fireside chat with the Eating Disorder Foundation. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar here at the Within Summit.
Thanks, everyone.